Hi, I'm Yanix, and welcome to System of the Month, where we'll be talking about Conspiracy X, First Edition. Now, what is Conspiracy X? Well, Conspiracy X is kind of like a mishmash of Men in Black and X-Files. You play as agents of a deep government conspiracy known as IGUS. Your mission is to combat the alien menace among us, greys and lizard people and other things like that, as well as to research and curb supernatural events and creatures as it comes up. The core system of Conspiracy X is actually very simple and very unique. It is a 2d6 system that relies on the relation of difficulty numbers and your attributes and skills. All the difficulty numbers are rated on a scale of 1 to 6, and all attributes and skills are rated on a 1 to 5 basis. If the difficulty number for any given task is 1 less than your attribute or skill, you automatically pass, no question asked. If it is equal to your attribute or skill, then you need to roll a 7 or less on 2d6. If the difficulty number is 1 more than your attribute or skill, then you need to roll a 4 or less on 2d6. If it is any more than that, you automatically fail. Now, there is some fiddling with the difficulty, with the actual numbers you need to roll based on certain environmental or situational modifiers, but at the core of the system, that's all there is to it. That's it. It's really simple. Now let's talk about some things I really like about this system. One of the main things I love is this whole mechanic called pulling strings. It really gets that atmosphere and that vibe of being a part of a conspiracy where one of the main things in character creation is that you have a career. You have a job that determines some skills and other things like that. But the big thing that it determines is how you can pull strings. Because, yes, you have a job and you work for certain organizations or government agencies or other things like that. What pulling strings do is lets you do certain actions or pull strings within your organization that you work for to get stuff for your group and resources and other things like that, which is really useful and really interesting. And there is so many options for pulling strings just from across all the different organizations and agencies you can potentially be working for as your day job. Another thing I really love is their whole idea of cell creation. So as a group, you have individual characters, and you all make those individually for the most part. But everyone comes together and creates the cell, the group, this whole part of the conspiracy that you're part of, just your individual little unit of it. And you get to just take all your resources, all your influence that you have amongst each other, and buy things for it. You can build, parts of your base. You can buy where your base is and what it is. You can buy, lab equipment. You can buy personnel. You can buy weapons. You can buy anything you need, anything you want. And you just sort of make your own unique cell and how it functions and what it has and all this really cool thing. And it's a really interesting part of this whole group dynamic because you all really put your part into it to make this one cohesive whole. And I haven't really seen it in any of the other games like this, and it's a really cool little system. Now, the other real big part that I really love about First Edition especially is its mechanic for their psychics. Now, yes, you can play a psychic in this system. It's really cool and really interesting. But how they determine if you can use your psychic powers or not is not based on a dice roll or anything like that. It's based on using Zener Cards. Now, if you don't know what Zener Cards are, you're probably not alone. Essentially, they're those cards that people use to test for ESP and psychic prowess in people. They're those cards with, the star and the wavy lines and the circles on them, where you just sort of hold it up and say, what shape is on the card? Yeah, that's a Zener card. So what you do is the GM draws a certain number of Zener cards, and you have to guess what's the shape on the cards, or if your shape is on the cards at all. And if you succeed, then yeah, bam, you can do your psychic power. Now, you can also spend these things called side points to basically guarantee that you succeed, but that's the basic resolution mechanic for it, is to draw these Zener cards and try to guess the shape on it. Which is really cool, because basically you're saying, okay, if you want to do psychic powers, do an actual psychic test. It's really charming and just has a lot of adds a lot of flavor and uniqueness to this system, and it's really cool, and I love it. And it actually has pretty much the exact same chances as rolling a die, because, you know, there's only 5 cards, so you have a 1 in 5 chance, or a 2 in 5 chance, or a 3 in 5 chance, depending on how many cards you pull. Now let's talk about some things I don't really like about this system. The first thing I would have to say is its combat's a little weird. Now, at its core, it's pretty simple because it's just based on the core mechanic of, you know, what is your skill in pistols or, you know, in melee combat lower than the difficulty you need to roll, lower than the difficulty of this particular challenge, or at this particular range, or whatever. You know, it's pretty simple to determine if you hit or not. But their wounding is a little weird. I mean, it's based on a wound system, and you have 3 different levels of wounds on non-lethal and lethal. For non-lethal, you have bruise, thwack, and break, and on lethal, you have flesh wound, serious wound, and splatter wound. And the only difference that the various wound levels makes is a check that you need to make to see what kinds of penalties you receive for the rest of combat or until you heal up. But where it starts getting a little weird is that in addition to having the wound type, you also have a difficulty number associated with the wound, which is what you need to roll to resist the effects. Where it starts getting a little weird with that is that wounds of the same type can stack together, and you add their difficulty numbers together, and if it rolls over 6, then it rolls into the next one, and it starts getting real wonky there when you're dealing with different types of wounds all adding together. And once it goes over 6 in the splatter category, then you get an instant death. So it can get really lethal, especially when most guns do a serious wound of 3. And if you just start, you know, using automatic fire, that'll add up real quick and off someone almost like within a turn, if you're lucky, or unlucky in some cases. So yeah, it can get really lethal, really fast, and the numbering system might take a little bit of getting used to. I mean, I don't think it'll be too difficult, but it can be a little wonky at first. The other thing that I don't exactly like is, while their supernatural ideas are really cool, they don't really explain the mechanics behind it very well in some cases. I feel like there's some holes in there, and I think that it needed a little bit more explaining, honestly. But they do have a supernatural source book for first edition, so they might have some answers in there to some of my questions. And otherwise, yeah, that's Conspiracy X. I highly recommend it. I'd say that if you like a relatively simple and easy to understand system, then you might like this. If you like X-Files, if you like Men in Black, if you like that whole conspiracy genre and the whole idea of being a cool agent fighting aliens and other dark secrets and things, then yeah, this is definitely worth a check out. It's also definitely, if you like the atmosphere of conspiracies, if you like the atmosphere of being a secret agent, you know, fighting monsters and such, yeah, definitely give this a look. So that's it for this System of the Month. We'll have some more related videos coming, and next month we'll have another system to look at. Thanks again. Keep rolling.
What do you see?
So what do you think of the system, Kitty?
Oh, it's a great system, Steven. I love it so much, I would play it all the time. Yeah. She probably hates you so much.